Ladies and gentlemen, we're back again with another PUA roasting and debunking. Here we've got a bit of a new kid on the block. He's actually been around for a little while, but his channel's blown up quite recently. And as well as seeing him in a rehab room video where Rehab roasted him, he's been coming up on my recommended on my recommended list quite a bit. Buggered if I know why, because he's a PUA red pill guy. But at first glance, he kind of comes across as like a little bit of a BPer. Like, because he does talk about the importance of looks here and here and there and this and that. But I thought, oh yeah, maybe I'll give this guy a chance. Went and looked at a couple of his videos, and I quickly found out that he's a bit of a wolf in sheep's clothing, and he's not BP at all. And he's basically like a new age. He's a bit of a stealthy PUA. And at the start, I gave him the benefit of the doubt until I worked out that, of course, he has e-books and courses and all that kind of shit to sell. And then I worked out, oh yeah, you're just another scammer PUA guy. And like all these PUAs, they try to shame men into thinking that their lack of success with women is their fault. He keeps on talking about, oh, you just don't approach enough. The first hundreds, just a warm-up type deal. And, you probably, he does talk about looks maxing and things like that. So, as I always say, even a broken clock gets it right twice a day. So he does have some good points, but at the end of the day, he's just another PUA scammer. He's just modernised his approach a little bit, stealthed it up a little bit so he does come across under the radar. And yeah, that's quite cunning, his approach actually. This guy is quite cunning. He's got 81 videos out, and I've got no idea how he's got 86.4k subscribers. He must have blew up on TikTok or something like that, because going right down, his older videos have got like 3k, 2k, 1k, 5k. And he's been on here for about 4 years. He made a few videos and then he disappeared for a bit. It's around about the 1 year ago mark. He's kind of getting half a million views. I don't know if they're real or fake views, if you can even fake it. Then every video past that's getting like a couple of 100,000 views. And it kind of goes against the algorithm. Like, he's only like recently has he been like releasing maybe 7 or 8 videos a month. You've really got to release them, like, to get that many subs. Unless he could have deleted videos too. I didn't think of that. But normally to get that many views and subs, you've got to be you've got to be uploading videos every day, doing live streams, like, doing all the stuff that Raymond and all that's doing. So I dare say, yeah, he probably got popular on TikTok for sprouting bullshit. And as we all know, men, because he's a fairly young guy, he's going to be getting a younger, newer audience that haven't been exposed to the real BP. And yeah, hopefully no one's bought his bullshit course, because he's just yeah, once again, he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. He tries to push pick-up lines, he tries to push holding frame and all the other bullshit we've heard for the last 20 years that we know doesn't work. Rehab Room actually ripped his ass apart, just absolutely ripped him a new one about 2 weeks ago, the time of this recording, in a video. And this is, I'm going to actually watch his response to Rehab Room's video about him. I was going to do both of them, but then I thought it's kind of no use if I reacted to the Rehab Room one. It'd just be basically me agreeing with 90% of what Rehab Room is saying, and disagreeing with pretty much 100% what this dickhead's saying. So I thought, if you haven't seen it already, but I dare say most of my subs and viewers watch Rehab Rooms anyway. So if you haven't seen it, go to a channel, just type in Rehab space Room and it'll come up, and then look around there 2 weeks ago, watch Rehab's video on this guy and chuck him a sub if you haven't already subbed. It's a great channel. And as of yet, Rehab hasn't responded to this. So this guy here is trying to start a little bit of a bun fight with Rehab, but I don't think Rehab's fallen for it. I think as far as Rehab's concerned, he's already roasted him, so that's that. There's really nothing this guy can say, which he's going to try to come back. And this guy's really against the BP. Like, once this guy gets challenged, he's really, really, really against the BP. As far as he's concerned, looks can be overcome by, what does he call his thing? He knows the secret techniques to flip the secret switch in a woman's brain that's going to instantly make her fall to her knees and unzip your pants. I can't believe people are still falling for this shit. But I'd say at least half the people in his comment section are ripping the piss out of him. So I'm hoping that most of the people that watch his videos are just watching it for entertainment and just for a laugh and don't take it seriously. So he's got a book, Esoteric Attraction. Sounds like a whole heap of bullshit already just from looking at the front page. Before I go down and show you a couple of his videos that he's got on offer, and before I get into the video that I'm going to be reacting to, of course I'm going to rate him. You can see him there with a side profile. He's got you'll see his front profile in the video that I'm going to be looking at. Overall, he's got a bit. He's got good hair, good hairline. Judging by the hair, he might have a little bit of ethnic in him. I'm not too sure. His eyes look a little bit weird. Other than that, he's fairly, he's got nothing really wrong with him. Overall, this guy would be a solid 5 out of 10. In my professional face rating capacity, he's about a 5. He's a solid 5. On the higher end of 5. Not 6, but on the higher end of 5. I'd say now. What do we got here? She mogs you but still wants you, so he's probably going to... Ways to get women out of your league. Well, you can't get a woman out of your league unless you're a very, very rich man or can offer her something that she wants. She's going to be using it either way, so this is more bullshit. No doubt he was going to show you... I'm not even going to click on that video, but I already know what it's going to be about. Pardon me again. He's going to tell you it's possible, but the only way it's possible is to download his course, buy his book, and he'll reveal all these secrets of all these psychological tricks of how to deep dive into the woman's brain and flip all these switches and do everything in the right order, and then she'll fall for you like you're some kind of Roman, Greek god or something. This is another one that's a bit stupid here. He's got It says red pill is cope and BP is gay, basically. GAY. So there you go. He thinks everyone in the BP bats for the other team, does he? So if you like the BP, you bat for the other team, do you? Well, you can probably already work out my opinion of this guy. He's a wanker. He's a wanker. Don't buy any of his stuff. He's just another one of these snake oil salesmen. But this guy's a little bit more modern. He's got a bit more of a refined angle to getting you to buy his course. What's he say here? Cold approach made easy. How to cold approach for beginners. Well, one, don't do it. Just gently lock eyes with a woman, and if you're getting choosing signals, go over and talk, and if you're not, don't. You can't create attraction, we all know that. This cheese stick here is probably going to, well, he will tell you that it's possible, and only he knows the real secrets to do it, just like all the other dickhead PUAs around. Only they've got the secrets. Ugly guys who pull more than chads. Okay, he's probably going to have a list of, what you say, Genghis Khan. Well, I don't think women had much of a fucking choice when Genghis Khan pulled them aside and wanted to have his way with him. Casanova, who really knows how much of that shit's true, if he was ugly or not. It's just like a bit of a romance story as far as I'm concerned. He's got Yad in there. I hope that's a joke. He's got Yad in this. Chopped guys who still get girls. Yad is only getting a girl if he writes Melanie on his right hand and has a wank with it. That's the only girl he's getting. And then you'll come across a little video like this where he kind of comes across as relatable. Brutal Tinder experiment proves it's over for men on dating apps. Now, that's something generally a PUA would not say. But as I said, this guy's quite sneaky. You kind of, it's like, hey, I'm on your side, guy. I know what it's like. Yeah, looks matter. So he's hypocritical because he says looks matter, and then in the next sentence he says no. In the next sentence he says no, they don't. Buy my course, and you can have as much clunge as you can handle. In his videos, he seems to do a lot of tier list videos. They've all got high views. Some of those have nearly got 1 million views. How the fuck? I don't know if he can bullshit his view count or not, or whether he's just, maybe he's deleted videos. You can't get that popular on 81 videos without having something there before. So as I said, the guy's probably popular on X or being how young he's probably popular on Twitter. Anyway, who gives a fuck? He's a turkey. He's a cocksucker. He's a fuckwit. He's a wanker. You name it. Typical PUA scum. But this guy's just a bit more refined, modern and refined. So I'll see how I go. I might end up skipping a bit of this, otherwise this will be a really long video or I might even two-part this one too, because this one goes for 50 minutes. This guy really loves, or like all PUAs, this guy really loves sound of his own voice. But we'll go down a little bit and have a look at some of the comments. Well, I'll look at some of this tag here that he's using. He's using a BP tag, which is what I used to use before my first channel got yeeted. So hopefully his channel gets yeeted. That'd be fucking fantastic. Who the fuck would donate to this bloke $100? What a cocksucker. He's probably donated it to him fucking self off a dodgy account. These, like, the lengths these idiots will go to look good. He's probably got another fucking account, a fake account, and he's bloody donated to himself to make himself look popular. I wouldn't put it past these dickheads. As I said, I've read some of the comments on all of his videos, and half of them are on his side and half of them are just taking the piss out of him. Now let's watch this video, and I'll stop it and interject wherever I see fit, really, and you will have to put up with the occasional ad. I'm sorry, I don't have YouTube Premium. So let's get into it.
You know, because I don't have an ego about it. Yeah, I just love how you look like someone who's just come over from Europe to...
So we've got our friend Yad here and his group of little inkwells. We've all seen this. This is just Rehab's intro, I think, so I'll let it play for a little bit, I think, before I stop. I don't think it's going to get into the meaty part of it for a while.
Just shop, yeah, okay? Girl in the blue. Ron, is this the Asian Sex and the City? Okay, yeah.
What is up, guys? In this video, I will be responding to Rehab Room's latest video about me. Some of you may have seen last video's absolute destruction of modern life dating, who also goes by MLD, but allow me to preface this video by giving Rehab Room his respect and saying, this guy is no MLD. It's funny how my 100 approach video managed to provoke two completely opposite ends of the extreme. Low IQ, red-pilled MLD.
Okay, you've got to be that guy. Money, muscles, game, frame.
High IQ, black-pilled Rehab Room. Now that we've destroyed the red-pilled...
See what he said there? He was kind of, you know, giving BP its props in a way, you know, giving Rehab a bit of respect before he, you know, he respects him before he insults him, really. As I said, this guy's trying to have a bet each way. He's trying to get both the RP and the BP people to come to him and ultimately buy his product. He's very, very stealthy. He's refined in his marketing, but at the end of the day, he can polish a turd, but it's still a turd. He's still a PUA scumbag.
Direction. It's time to hear the black pill out. Guys, I want you to understand, we're going against a completely different beast in this video. Going against MLD is like going against Kiba from Naruto. It's light work, it's easy. You don't need much, you know, wit or strength to beat someone like that. Going against Rehab is like going against the fucking Madara Uchiha of the Manosphere. Like, this guy is not to be taken lightly. There's a reason most people he makes videos on either run away or pretend he doesn't exist. All your favorite dating coaches, looks maxers, self-improvement creators have had to face the judgment of Rehab Room, and they all just ran away and ignored him. But not me, because I'm willing to enter the Rehab Room and go toe-to-toe with him. I'm not scared of you, bro. In fact, I plan on leaving the room unscathed and with my own beliefs intact.
Listen to the ego on this arsehole. Listen to the ego. One thing these PUAs have is they absolutely love themselves. They've definitely got a lot of narcissistic, even potentially psychopathic traits about them. They've got no empathy for people. You can't have empathy for people if you just take their money knowing that you sell them absolute shit that doesn't work.
My ideas against yours, my beliefs against yours. And unlike other creators in the space, I'm not attached to a particular set of beliefs. I have nothing to lose for being wrong. I mean, you guys have seen my perspective evolve and change since the very first tier list I've made. A lot of people think that this red pill thing I do, oh dude, he's just grifting PUA and cold approach. No, I actually believe in it. This is not as profitable of a grift, if you want to call it that, as looks maxing. If I was actually doing this for business and money purposes, I would have just leveraged looks maxing. It would be way more profitable, I'd make a lot more money, and it's currently the trend.
That's a complete load of shit there. There's far more money to be made as a dating coach or a PUA rejection artist and looks maxing, because looks maxing will only get you so far, and for a good majority of men out there, looks maxing isn't going to do enough for you to get you to ascend. So for you selling your book, which is like a magic pill, a magic formula to get women, you know, no matter what you look like, I'm guessing you probably will sprout looks max as much as you can too, but as I said, you can polish a turd so much and it's still going to be a turd. We've all seen them videos. I think Rehab and Wheat Waffles have done them, where he shows gym max guys that have bodies like Adonis, but their faces are still sub 5 and they get nothing. A ripped and muscular sub 5 is still a sub 5, so I'm calling you bullshit out there, buddy, and there's nothing you can do about it.
But the reason my school isn't about looks maxing only, I mean, there are looks maxing guides in there, but it's mainly about dating dynamics, cold approaching and stuff, is because I genuinely believe in that stuff. I genuinely believe that aside from your looks, that's what's going to move the needle the most.
Yeah, see, he chucked in that little caveat, aside from your looks. See, he's very stealthy with his selling it, but as always, it's going to be, you can only get so far with your looks, but with my book and your looks maxing and all this, so he's trying to combine it all, chuck it into one big pot and make money. This guy is here to make money. He's not here to help you. He's not on your side. He's here to make money. He's no different than fucking Homo, Tomasi, Mystery, and all them other dickheads.
All I want is the truth, and more importantly, I want to leverage the truth to give myself and my audience a competitive advantage over the rest of the world. And if that means having to tell you guys to do a bunch of surgeries and go to the Philippines, so be it. I don't care. I just want the truth. Even if it currently looks like it's over and that everything is genetically determined, like Rehab Room believes, I will dedicate the rest of my life in servitude of the people who it's over for, on an individual level and on a collective level. Even if it is over, I can't...
Self-magnanimous bullshit. Just talking absolute shit there, trying to make out that he's on your side, and he's he's a zealot. He's so zealous in what he stands for. Just trying to build his character. And I hope everyone can see through this shit.
Just let it be over. We have to change this shit, and if that means we have to take some extreme measures as a collective, let us take these extreme measures. But without further ado, of my life in servitude of the people who it's over for, on an individual level and on a collective level. Even if it is over, I can't just let it be over. We have to change this shit, and if that means we have to take some extreme measures as a collective, let us take these extreme measures. But without further ado...
More bullshit word salad. He's trying to say if it's over, you can, change the course of the ship. No, you can't. If it's over, it's over. If you're a 4 out of 10 or below, it's fucking over. If you're a 5 like this guy is, you're going to have some luck here and there. But if you're sub 5, mate, good fucking luck to you. With women's standards today, in this day and age, mate, if you have just one fucking flaw, if you're either short or bald or fucking too hairy or too ethnic or God knows what else that gives them the ick. If you miss out on ticking one box, they're done with you. They only want their ideal guy. In their mind, it is Chad or nothing. They are happy to be alone and just getting their back blown out by Chad. They want their ideal guy or nothing. The ones that aren't like that, yes, there are some great women out there. 99.9 of them are already settled down and married and have kids. You might be lucky and catch them between a divorce, or if you're young, you might meet a great girl when you're young, but don't hold your breath for it. Just carry on.
Let's see what Rehab Room has to say.
I was watching this video the other day. This PUA stuff is most of that these days. Looks maxers are the new PUAs. Not all of them, of course. I mean,
Who do we have here? Marcus Wolf. Name rings a bell, don't know his stuff. Mr. Lucario, don't know him. The Man Mindset, don't know him. Miles Cunningham, don't know him. Ice White down the bottom, don't know him. It looks like he'd scare more people off than fucking invite in. Michael Sartain, I've seen him around. I've heard of him through Master Yoda. That calls him Michael Shitstain. I'll have to check him out and do a reaction on him.
Technically speaking, I am a Luxmaxer too, but a lot of Luxmax content creators are the new PUAs, charging lonely men thousands of dollars, not being honest about how much change they...
See, look at this bullshit. Look at this Photoshop bullshit. Even if it wasn't Photoshopped, I'd say that. This photo. Look at the guys, Ramus and Gonial angle. That's just ridiculous. And his whole eye area change, you know. That guy's photoshopped or surgery, whatever it is, that's a load of shit. You can't do it. It's a problem with looks maxing, like losing weight, combing your hair, styling and grooming. It'll only get you so far, and the best and most number one form of looks maxing is losing as much fat as you can, lose as much weight as you can, get lean and get in shape. That's really all you can kind of do as a guy. If you do that and your success rate hasn't changed, if you do that, then approach, 40, 50 women. Not just online, but if you go out within your social group, start going to social events and things like that, pubs and clubs, approach 40 or 50 Sheilas. If you get no results, and then it's fucking over, mate. It's over. Don't think that this PUA stuff's going to matter. It's at least over in that market anyway. Yes, you can still GO Max, or if you're white, you can JBW. But yeah, like I'd 100% recommend it if you're the kind of guy that's been overweight for most of your life. Just see what happens. Like it's like chipping away at a bit of marble. You just don't know what's underneath. Like if you've never been lean, if you've never been around the 10%, 12% body fat range in your life, get that low and see how you go. And if you're still getting piss poor results, well, I'm sorry, but you weren't genetically gifted, and better luck next life, champ.
they can accomplish.
Yeah, this is absolutely true. Nowadays, looks maxing content is way more popular than PUA videos, which is also why I don't post my infields, by the way. If you guys look at the infield pickup content, it barely gets views these days. Like, guys would rather watch a video on, how to get hunter eyes than a cold approach infield video. So they're just out of fashion these days. Looks maxing is indeed the new PUA for sure. I've made this point several times on my channel too. I've also questioned the extent of how far looks maxing can take you. In fact, I've run several polls before, and the general consensus seems to be that with a combination of hard maxing and soft maxing, on average, someone can ascend 1.5 to 2 points on the look scale. I think that's pretty realistic, and maybe a lot of looks maxers are...
I've seen videos of younger guys, probably in their late teens, early 20s, younger men that have been considerably overweight all their life and lost weight. They've went from like 3 to 4s out of 10s to chads. I'm talking hunter eyes, perfect jaw lines, square jaw chads. But that is going to be the minority. Yes, most people can looks max up to 1 point if they get lean, but what use is it going from a 2 to a 3 or a 3 to a 4? None, really. You may as well be a bit more overweight. I mean, do it and see what happens. You're never really going to know where the limit is, where the high watermark is, unless you give it a go. And then if you get lean and you stay that way for about a year and you still try to attract women and you can't do it, you got a choice to make. You're like, still go to the gym and live a healthy lifestyle, but you may as well put another 10 kilos on and actually enjoy your life. Have a couple of beers and eat good food, enjoy carbs and all that stuff. Once again, it's completely your choice as a man to make. I can only help guide you, just give my opinion, that kind of thing. Anyway, we'll move on.
Honest about transformations and whether you can ascend to Chad, it's still very possible to get life-changing results with looks maxing, depending on your base, of course. So I'm not really a looks maxing creator per se, but even if they are being
No, you're a scammer creator. You're come and buy my book creator. Ladies and gentlemen, also gentlemen, this guy isn't here to help you. This guy couldn't give a fuck if you get results with him or not. You buy his book, it doesn't work, you write him, you make a video about him, whatever you do, he'll just gaslight you and tell you it's your fault.
dishonest on the extent of looks maxing, I still think the good outweighs the bad when it gets people to actually do it, unless, of course, you know, they're charging an absurd amount of money.
Fake looks max techniques and what have you, right? But that old PUA doctrine of, oh brother, you know, the first 1,000 approaches is just warm up. You need to do mass cold approaches. That doctrine is back. A specter is haunting the manosphere, guys. The ghost of Yad is here.
What an honor it is to be associated with Yad himself, the sub-5 who sacrificed himself for you, and yet you remain ungrateful to his contribution. I mean, Rehab, you realize that if it wasn't for Yad, maybe you would be doing mass approaches right now. Maybe you would still live in the delusion that you hate so much. So
now, I think Rehab Room's pretty much come to terms with where he sits on the hierarchy of looks, and I don't think he'd be out doing cold approaches. He's just starting the personal attacks here.
no one should question the sacrifices of Yad. He died for a bunch of ungrateful pessimists like you.
But still can't face the truth. The cognitive dissonance and mental gymnastics is something to talk about, guys.
The problem isn't your looks, it's because you never flipped her primal switch. And the problem isn't your looks, it's because
The problem isn't your looks. See, they talk out of both sides of their mouth. So he's with the black people, or the BP. He hates the BP. He's with it. He's against it. He says looks maxing's great, and then he says, "Oh, your looks don't matter. It's you never flipped her primal switch." What an absolute load of fucking bullshit. Same shit, fucking different smell. That's all this guy is. He's got a more covert, refined way of getting you to watch his videos and getting these young kids to believe all his bullshit. Because you never flip. I'll tell you what flips a woman's primal switch is being a good-looking man. If a woman doesn't find you attractive, it's game over. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. There is nothing you can do about it to change her mind. And that happens in a 13th of a second. And it's either on or it's not. There's nothing you can do or say to coerce or manipulate or to charm your way into a woman's pants. It doesn't work that way.
because you never flipped her primal switch. And you have to understand that there's a biological switch inside every single woman that, when activated, makes her feel an uncontrollable pull towards a man.
Yes, and that switch is activated by good-looking men, by a man that has an attractive face. Fucking tosspot.
Even if he's not her usual type.
Oh, you need to flip the switch in our brain.
Ah, you got me there, Rehab. You got me there. I'll be honest with you guys, okay? The primal switch thing is marketing. Everyone has their idea of what the primal switch is. For his audience, it's definitely your face and height, but unfortunately, nuance doesn't sell. And I actually had a conversation about this with my business partner. I said, dude, why don't I just...
There you go there. He's only in it for the money. It's a marketing technique. He's got business partners. This guy here is just out to make money. And he knows what he's selling doesn't work. He's just as big as a fucking scumbag as all the other blokes I've roasted.
say you can increase the probability of realistically attracting girls by leveraging volume, looks maxing, geo-maxing, and developing your social skills. I mean, we take a multifaceted approach and tailor our advice depending on the person. So isn't it a bit weird to say this whole primal switch thing? Isn't it a bit cringe? And then he said, you clearly don't understand how info and marketing works. You need a unique mechanism. So we went with the primal switch. Is it a bit cringe? You know, in hindsight,
Once again, he just admitted this was was a marketing technique to make you split from your hard-earned cash that's in your wallet. He doesn't care about you, this bloke. He wants your money.
Yeah, kinda, but it gets the job done. And when you enter my community, the information is really good. There's hours upon
No, it's not. It's a complete waste of your fucking time and money.
hours of exclusive content in there as well. So yeah, Rehab is smart for going right for my virtual sales letter. If I was coming after myself, I'd do the same thing.
You gotta flip, bro. Got rejected 100 times in a row. You gotta approach 200 more, 500 more. It is just a numbers game. It is about staying strong in the face of rejection.
Hey, that was a video I reacted to. I actually thought Rehab would do a massive reaction to that. That guy that got jailed for talking to that Sheila, and he hired this Canadian PUA, and he got caught filming them up a stairway or some shit.
Bro, not only your self-esteem is gonna take a hit, but you also gonna get labeled. You are gonna start getting banned from bars and places.
Oh, the classic trauma farming argument. Rehab is correct here. This may happen, but I'm telling you guys, I did more approaches that weekend than most guys will do in their entire lives. And
No, don't. No, I'm not putting up with that bullshit. Don't you dare tell men out there that getting trauma from going out and trying a cold approach isn't real. It's exactly real. And I've got a video about it, how you can get actually a form of like PTSD and rejection trauma. Don't just kind of laugh that off and just say, oh, just keep doing it, you're a weak, you're a pussy. Don't insinuate any of that stuff, pal. Mental health is a very serious thing, and it's not something to be fucked with.
the worst possible response I got from an actual day game approach was a smile on her face with, oh, sorry, I have a boyfriend, or her just walking off.
Well, the worst result that I've had was I was arrested for talking to a woman. So it's not just, oh, they'll say no and just go about your way. No. The worst thing that can happen is you can get arrested and go to jail and have to go to court and get an intervention order against you.
Pillars put so much importance on rejections. Like, I don't know, man, maybe it's just me, but I forget about them pretty fucking quickly. Like, I'm being honest with you.
Because you're a psychopath or a narcissist, or a combination of both.
You guys, I don't remember most of the rejections from that weekend. This whole idea that your
Once again, you're a narcissist. Why would you remember it?
self-esteem is going to plummet and that you're trauma farming. I could see that being the case for like sub-5s and guys who are extremely unattractive. But if you have successes sprinkled in here and there, especially if, like, you know, even though I promote mass approach,
If you're a man and have successes with women, you don't need to go to any of this PUA shit. You've probably never even seen one video about it.
you don't need to mass approach to start seeing results, to start going on dates, to get girls' numbers. Like, it's not like a ratio of, oh man, you got to do 100 approaches to get one acceptance. A part of my strategy is literally to tell guys like, yo, if you are getting rejected constantly over and over and over again, stop approaching, reconsider your strategy. Look, Smacks, there's probably something else going on. Your market is rigged. Move somewhere.
So if you buy his book and it doesn't work, it's your fault. Because you haven't looks maxed. Oh, you're in the wrong market. You haven't hard maxed, you know. Look at all this shit. Once again, it's the old gaslight, the old PUA gaslight. If you buy his book and course and listen to him and you get no results, that's something you're doing wrong. It's not his stuff. Oh, no. God forbid it's anything that he's doing or selling. Please see the patterns. Every single PUA that I roast has the same fucking patterns. Recognise the patterns and steer clear of these dickheads.
Else, I'm not like delusional and telling guys, yo, just persist. Even though, you know, I can understand that that's the message of the video. In hindsight, I should have clarified a bit more. I should have been more careful with my words. If you actually join my community or if you watch my cold approach guide on YouTube, that's not really what I'm saying. I'm not saying, oh, you got rejected 100 times. It's fine, bro. Just keep approaching. Like, that video was coming from a very particular emotional state. There was a specific message I was trying to pull, so my bad if that's how you guys interpreted the video. But I will say that it seems like Rehab is fear-mongering everyone into thinking that if they approach enough, you know, the cops will get called on them or they'll get reported to management and kicked out of places. But this is still very unlikely to happen.
Well, no, it's not, especially for the kind of people that fall for this PUA stuff. Generally, they're not going to be neurotypical. Generally, they're not going to be very attractive. And as I said, it's happened to me a few times. I've been banned from shopping centres. I've nearly gotten into fights that many times. And, yeah, I still remember that time that I was never said anything sexual, never touched this woman, never done anything creepy, just talked to her a few times. Bam, arrested, restraining order, don't go near her. And the worst that can happen is a no. You can lose your job, you can get doxed, you can get the shit beaten out of you, you can get, you know, rejection dysphoria, whatever the fuck it's called, where you just fall into deep depressions and get anxiety because you just get rejected. A lot of bad things can happen just from going out and approaching woman after woman. Maybe not for this guy, because as I said, normally a lot of these PUA guys have narcissistic tendencies and they don't really give a shit. Well, I'll tell you the basic differences. Like, a narcissist knows he's doing wrong but doesn't give a fuck about it. A psychopath doesn't know he's doing wrong. Like, a narcissist is capable of feeling empathy, but they just don't give a fuck. Where a psychopath or sociopath, they are incapable, incapable of feeling sympathy or empathy or anything like that. That's why maybe these guys can just go up and talk to women, but a lot of that shit's staged too. There's plenty of videos that I've seen where I'm near 100% certain that they've paid models or a couple of hookers to show up and act interested and give them their numbers and even have a make out on the street. It's just all bull. It's just one big money making ploy. And this guy here, this YBT, whatever the fuck his name is, YBC, already said before in a part where I stopped it, it's a marketing gimmick. It's a marketing technique to make money. Fucking absolute scumbags, mate. Rip-off artists. Fucking Ponzi fuckwits. It's just another... It's like a Ponzi scam. But they're just taking your money and giving you fucking nothing.
Even if you are a sub-5, if you approach respectfully, if you approach in a socially calibrated manner, even if you're not the best looking, at worst you'll get a soft rejection. It's easy.
Oh. No.
Easy to cherry pick cases of guys who got absolutely brutalized by approaching, ended up behind bars. Just like how it's easy to cherry pick a guy who died while lifting weights and then say, oh bruh, lifting weights is dangerous, man. Like, no. Now, I do understand.
Don't compare apples to oranges.
That Rehab is looking at things from a sub-5 perspective, and it's hard for him to see things outside of that. And maybe I ought to be more careful and explicitly say, yeah, if you're a sub-5, you're more likely to get brutal rejections. And
so he's chucking a little bit of personal vulnerability in here. Or maybe I was wrong. Maybe that was harsh. See, as I said, this guy's a very, very cunning, very, very, very cunning PUA. No wonder he's got, a bit of popularity in the whole RP BP scene at the moment. As I said, you just got to be aware of these tactics.
Trauma formed than a guy who isn't a sub-5. But again, it's hard to even generalize that because a sub-5 doing mass approaches in the Philippines will arguably have better results than a normie doing mass approaches in America. So,
water's wet and fire's hot. Okay.
It's hard to generalize a message and say, if you're this, you will experience that. But I see what point he's trying to make.
Especially if it is a small town. You will be giving those girls free premium gas, free ego boost.
Last year, I went through a process of trying to be more social and improve my dating life without using the apps. So I got really in my head about the process. So back in July,
This is a guy I reacted to before Rehab got on the yay first.
I decided to hire a dating coach.
Why'd you hire a dating coach?
Tell me that.
I won't even answer that.
Here's what happens when you type in my legal name on Google. Oh, yeah.
It would be
Oh yeah. Well, the worst can happen is you get told no. Yeah. In today's day and age of the whole Me Too and women just being so, for lack of a better word, frigid about being approached by guys, no, the worst that can happen is far greater than just a no.
nice to get some context on why he got the cops called on him. Like, what did he do? What did he say? I mean, in the vast majority of cases, this just doesn't happen, bro. Like, it's easy. You can cherry pick examples like this all day, but I don't think that this is as common as Rehab is trying to portray it as. Most of the guys that I see in these relationships, it's so brutal, man, when you really start paying attention.
Welcome to 2015, bro. But I will say this. At least this guy admits men are dating down. You know, when people say, oh, brother, it
It's hilarious when he says, "Oh, brother."
ain't about looks. You know, check out this couple.
Once again, these narcissists, PUAs, like to do the old personal attack. Why did you just attack him about his accent? You know, I've noticed that whenever you have arguments or debates or fights with people, they will come after you personally. When they can't attack your argument, they'll attack you personally, which means you've won.
In real life, you know, the couples in real life mean. They almost always underrate the dude and overrate the hell out of the girl.
Yeah, hard agree. I mean, this is just a fact. Most guys overrate women's looks, underrate men's looks. Men do it, and women do it as well.
Even in this community, like, people don't know how to rate. I will die on this hill.
Geez, that Sydney Sweeney's gorgeous, isn't she? She's got them come-to-bed eyes. I don't know what's going on here. I think they done like one. They put her face through like the change my gender profile, fucking whatever, change my gender app. And now they've just made her. If you're looking at the screen, if you're not, they've just like made her look into like more of an effeminate guy. That's about a 5 out of 10. Now that Sydney Sweeney is hot, she's pretty, but she's not that, you know, Stacey. She's no Michelle Pfeiffer. You know, she's no oh, who's that chick that plays Iron Man's fucking wife? Pepper Potts. What's her name? She's bloody gorgeous. She's going to annoy me now. What the hell is her name? Cute little redhead. She's about 50-year-old now, but looks hotter than 90% of 20-year-olds. Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, she's no. Yeah, like Hollywood timeless glamour, but she's. I mean, fuck, I would never kick her out of bed for farting.
I'm not gonna give any names, but I was talking to a community figure, and even he does it, bro. I was like, you only say she mugs him because he's bald. Literally, the only reason is you don't compare them on a craniofacial level. Oh, the dude shaved his hair. That means he's dating up. Bro, I promise you one thing. If you could find the brothers of those girls, you know, the couples where people think the girl is dating down, right? If you could find the brothers of the girls in a relationship, you would realize that the 90% of the time, the brother is getting mocked into the shadow realm. Into the shadow realm, bro. By the guy his sister is dating. Sure, like, you can get into a relationship as a 5 out of 10, 4 out of 10. Somewhat, some way. But the context of the relationship. Sometimes they are going to be dating down. If not, they are going to be super expendable. And often both. both dating down and also still expendable. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's true. I understand the hopeless nature of the situation, and the only way I can really think of solving it on a collective level to make sure dating is better for everyone is for guys to simply stop dating down, to understand their own looks level of.
Yeah, but that shit's never going to happen. That's something the BP community have talked about for years and years. Oh, what if just every guy tomorrow just stopped simping and stopped sending 500 messages to all these Sheilas, stop buying the stuff, stop being pay pigs and fin subs and all this shit. It's just never going to... There is always going to be simps and guys overinflating women's egos. So forget about trying to fix that problem.
Objectively, by black pill standards, and then go for their looks match or higher. But obviously, convincing every man on earth to do this is not going to be easy. So, I guess Rehab is right. What are we gonna do? You see Chads with 6s, you see Chadlights with 5s, you see tall, high-tier normies with 4s, and then anything below that, most of these guys ain't getting shit.
Well, once again, he's trying to come in with this underhanded tactic. He just explained it pretty much how it is there. Sub-5s don't get shit, but at the same time, hey, go and buy my book. The gall of these arseholes, the audacity.
Part of that is also because no one's shooting volume these days. Nobody's actually going out and trying to do anything about it.
He's still not getting it. Bro, the reason is literally the opposite of it. They do something about it. It is just... They don't have to do it in the bars and clubs cold approaching in 2025 anymore. They took their cringe maxing to private channels, bro. But they still do volume shooting. If anything, they do it more than before.
Yeah, and Rehab, you fail to see why that is exactly the problem. Not all volume is equal. The online way of shooting volume puts the power in the woman's hands. It gives her infinite options from guys all over the world, but she doesn't take most of them seriously. When you cold approach girls who are your looks match or higher, you have a higher chance of getting her because it's a real life interaction. And there are some girls I've dated who I wouldn't have had a chance with if I tried matching with them on a dating app or DMing them on social media. When men go online, they're forced to date down. When men do volume in real life, they actually have a higher chance of dating equal or up. Women would rather date a less attractive guy who she met in real life or who's in her social circle than a random guy off the app unless he's Chad. That's why the standard on dating apps are so high.
Standards in real life are still high too. You do have more of a chance. He's right there. You do have more of a chance of finding someone in person, but you still have to pass the basic looks test. You've still got to be that 5 out of 10 guy. Just look at the Western birth rate and things like that, marriage rates and things. Women's standards are completely through the roof, into the fucking stratosphere, making their way into deep space. And yes, online is good for chads and chad lights. If you're not at least a 6 out of 10, I'd say just delete every app off your phone. It's a complete waste of fucking time. And in like, I say real life, online dating is still real life too. In person, you've got to be a 5. So it's either looks max your way to a 5 out of 10 or accept it's over. I know what I say is harsh a lot of the time, but hey, I'm just passing on a message, don't shoot the messenger. And yes, I know 4s and 3s can get lucky, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about what happens a majority of the time. 3s and 4s out of 10s generally get fuck all. And their looks matches don't want them, they want to date up. We know that. It's called hypergamy. But as I said, look, there's always that sliver of chance, but you can't bank on it. There's always that hope, that chance. We've all seen these the couples out there, the 3 out of 10s with the 3s and 4s, you know, with their looks match, or even a 5, you know, every now and again. But you can't bank on that ever happening to you. So if you're a 3 or a 4 out of 10, you know, once again, it's really not for me to tell you whether or not to give up on women and dating or not, but you've definitely got to have a good long hard think about it and come to some kind of acceptance and some kind of motto about it, whether that be, okay, I'm just going to cope, I'm going to give up, or whether, oh, I'm not really going to give up, but I'm not going to pay too much attention in life to whether I get a woman or not, or whether, oh, fuck this, I really, really, really want one, and I'm going to do this and keep on looks maxing and keep chasing. That's all up to you. But all I can try to do, as well as the other content creators, is just give you that raw data, raw unfiltered data. Yes, it might hurt your feelings a little bit, but it's the truth. Wouldn't you rather know the truth, you know? As a man, wouldn't you rather, say, content creators like me stand in front of you and say, hey, listen, brother, this is the truth, like it or lump it. This is how it is. This is what you can do about it, if anything. And the choice is yours what to do with it now. You've got the information. What happens next is up to you. Let's continue on.
Women don't actually value their online option as much as their real life options. They just like keeping them there for attention and validation. So the source of their attention and validation is coming from social media and dating apps, not from cold approaching. On a collective level, if every guy cold approached and stopped using dating apps, the dating market would still be infinitely better. Because number one, the amount of attention she gets will decrease to only guys who exist in her real life bubble. And number two, she likely won't have access to many international high SMF guys who mog you to oblivion, who live in a different part of the world. So both on an individual and collective level, shooting volume through cold approach rather than swiping on dating apps or using social media makes the dating market infinitely better for every guy.
What you just said there sounds really good in theory. I'd even agree with a little bit of it. I mean, if guys did stop simping and fuck all the apps off and stop telling women they're gorgeous, they're goddesses, they're beautiful every day, yes, dating would probably go back to what it was 20 or 30 years ago. But the sub-5 guys are still fucked. Like, it's kind of like the toothpaste is out of the tube now. You've really got to ascend. Look, do everything you can. Once again, if you're overweight, one of the best things you can do is to get lean. And yes, I know it's a pot calling the kettle black and I'm a fat fucking bastard. I'm about probably 25 to 30 kilos overweight, I know. But I've been lean and had average at best results. So I've already done that work. Yes, I might I might do it again. I actually do want to get lean just for health. Not so much for the woman, but especially if you're a guy that's never been lean before, please do it. Just go on diets. Just pick one and stick to it. All you really got to do is just cut out the junk food and exercise. Doesn't matter if you're doing high carb, low carb, paleo, bloody the caveman diets, protein only, the diabetic diets, keto diets are actually really good for dropping weight. But you got to be careful too, like not having the carbs and that there can make you feel a bit. Yeah, oh no, it just made me. I've done it for a little bit. That's how I lost all my weight. I lost a lot of muscle with it too. That's the only thing about the keto diet and losing weight. By eating like really, really restricting your calories, like the 400 calories a day, 500. Yeah, you'll drop fat quick, but you'll also lose a bit of muscle. But anyway, this video is not about diets and the best way to lose weight. I'm just telling you guys that's the best thing you can really do is get lean and not for your biceps, your pecs and your abs, but getting lean just to see what that bone structure under your face is like. You just don't know. Think of it like a scratch card. You go to the local newsagents and buy a lottery like a lottery card, scratch card. You scratch it away. Most of the time you're only going to get, maybe a $2, $5, a $10 prize, but the odd person will scratch it and win the jackpot. You might lose weight, scratch away, metaphorically, all that fat. Get rid of all that fat that's in between your jaw and your cheekbones and around your neck. You might have a Chad face. You might, even if it's not Chad, if you're a 3 or a 4 out of 10 and get up to 5, if you can get to 5, basically, now we're talking. Now you can kind of formulate a bit of a strategy to find a lady. Like I've said in other videos, if you're a 4, you're going to have to kind of niche max or JBW max a bit, but I really want to get into all the tiers just yet. I've done videos, I'll do more, I've done them in the past, go and check them out and all that shit. Let's carry on with this. If they keep on just waffling on, it'll be a fucking 6-hour video.
Thanks to social media. I'm not even talking about dating apps, dude. These days, people use entire social media to shoot their shots, to cringe max. Even something like Discord.
Yeah, so the point Rehab's making here is that most guys nowadays are just shooting their shot online, giving women infinitely more attention and validation. I agree with him there, but Rehab is also underestimating the number of women who aren't on dating apps and have private social media profiles. Like, yes, don't get me wrong, a lot of them are public and shit, but when you cold approach, you also give yourself a chance to meet girls who aren't on dating apps. Those exist, by the way, and also girls who aren't really public on social media, who are more private. Of course, those girls are...
What he's saying there is you're going to have a bit more of a chance if you cold approach. Yes and no. Predominantly more no than yes. Women out there in the real world still have a certain standard of man that they want. That there's still a basic looks threshold. And if you don't match it, once again, it's over. It never began. You can't be a 3 or a 4 out of 10 and just think, I'm getting no matches online, I'll just go out in person and approach 100 women and maybe 3 of them will say yes and I'll have a relationship and go and have kids and get married. It just doesn't work that way. Women work off a hive mind narrative. It's objective, so it's kind of like the stock markets. What one stock does affects the rest. What one woman does affects the rest. Like if 100 women have standards through the roof and only want chads and want this full head of hair, chiseled jaw, well, guess what? All the fucking women want it. It's just how it is. In the world we live in, where everyone's connected, everyone's logged in and switched on and all that shit, it's globalised. It's a globalised dating market. Going up and talking to women in person is going to make no fucking difference if you don't pass the basic looks test.
They're growing more scarce, but they still exist. And the only way you give yourself a chance to meet them, if you get lucky with a friend group or if you just cold approach.
Can I tell you something very quickly?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I just saw you and I thought you looked really nice.
Listen, Rehab, okay? You can make fun of Yad as much as you want, but I will say one thing. In the same way that you say, when you see a relationship of like a guy who's unattractive with a girl who's more attractive than himself, your first instinct is to go, yeah, but you don't know the context of that relationship. You don't know how she's treating him. You don't know what their arrangement is.
That's because that's exactly right. You don't know the context of it. And more often than not, it's one of the usual tropes. They were high school sweethearts. Just be first, bro. The guy's got money. She's treating him like shit. She's using him. Who knows?
Could be a beta bucks. In the same way, I could reflect that back onto you. Yes, it is likely that Yad is a sub 5 who volume approaches and gets nothing out of it. But how do we actually know that? How can we confidently...
We know that because of the countless men that have came to the BP that have tried PUA for the last 20, 25 years and had absolutely fuck all results, me being one of them. That's how come we know that this is all bullshit.
With 100% certainty say that, you know, Yad gets no results off cold approach. And because of this sort of lingering
If he gets results, it's with 2 out of 10 50-year-old fatties.
uncertainty, I decided that I'm going to be meeting up with Yad and potentially doing an IRL collab with him and doing the Yad stop along with him. How cool would it be for the ghost of Yad to meet Yad himself? And let me just say, Yad is not an easy guy to get in touch with, but I made it happen, and things are cooking up behind the scenes. So I really hope I can bring...
Great. Release a video and I'll react to that too. Looking forward to it.
This IRL collab for you guys. And Rehab, I want you to react to it as well, because I'll be honest with you, if Yad doesn't get the results I expect him to get, I'm not going to sugarcoat and defend him. I'm going to just be like, yo, you know, the shit's finished. But maybe, just maybe, Yad could be the only sub-5 who figured the equation.
So what will happen here is Yad and this other new kid on the block here will meet up. They'll pay a couple of professional models or hookers to be at a certain place at a certain time. And they'll make out that they're getting result after result using all these techniques in your book and his book. And it's just going to be just like a magic show. It's just going to be all smoke and mirrors. It's going to be all bullshit. That's my prediction anyway. Tell me if you think it's going to be the right one.
Equation now. The only sub-5 who is not fated to a sub-5 destiny. Tall, high-tier normies with 4s.
And watch what he said himself, disprove him, guys.
No, the shit's finished. But maybe, just maybe, Yad could be the only sub-5 who figured the equation out. The only sub-5 who is not fated to a sub-5 destiny. Tall, high-tier normies with...
No, he hasn't figured it out. No, he hasn't cracked the code.
4s.
And watch what he said himself.
Sub-5 destiny. Tall, high-tier normies with 4s.
And watch what he said himself, disprove him, guys. He said, you see Chad Lights go out with ugly girls. Bro, that is because she knows she has too many guys shooting their shots, that she can date a dude way better than herself. The very reason for it is the fact that women are bombarded with messages. Men cringe maxing, trying to woo her, trying to flip her brain, flip the switch on her brain. I mean, either he's being disingenuous here, or his brain...
Remember, gentlemen, when he said flip the switch in her brain? He came clean and said, oh, that's just nothing but a marketing tactic. And why do businesses use marketing? To make money. To make money. They don't care about you, they just care about money.
Doesn't register this concept. Either he's being disingenuous here, or his brain doesn't register this concept. Oh, dude, it is because man, our brain, flip the switch on our brain. I mean, either he's being disingenuous here, or his brain doesn't register this concept. Oh, dude, it is because men don't improve. They don't shoot their shot. No, dude, they do. In fact, they do it a lot more than before. They just do it online. Times changed. Women are bombarded with options, and yes, you can get into relationships, I know, even if you are sub-6, through mass cold approaching. Just get rejected 10,000 times, you know, you will find someone that will bestow you with the great privilege of being in her presence. But like, one, you will need to go below your looks match. I mean, you will have to. Don't listen to his, only approach women hotter than yourself. These guys always overrate women's looks.
No, Rehab, I don't overrate women's looks. In fact, if anything, I actually underrate women's looks. I'm well aware of the BP. I'm well aware of how you craniofacially analyze a face to determine its rating. And I have a general idea of whether a girl is my looks match or not. I put my biases aside to determine that. So I agree that there's a problem with normies overrating girls' looks because they're horny and are desperate for a relationship, and that is part of the problem, but I'm not one of them. I see the same things you see. But you are right. Women are bombarded with options online, especially on social media and stuff. That doesn't change the fact that they don't value their online options as much as their real life options. There's an asymmetry between, you know, what they prioritize. And I think cold approaching is one of the best ways to take advantage of that. That's just my opinion, though, because, you know, a lot of the girls who I've cold approached and dated show me their dating app history. They show me all these guys in their DMs, and a lot of them mog me. A lot of them are Chad lights. A lot of them are high tier normies, taller than me. But I'm the one with her because I met her in a different.
I reckon he's talking a little bit of bullshit here, saying that all his PUA knowledge and what he knows is getting him to the state where he can mog and pick up women that normally go out with Chads and Chad lights. More PUA bullshit. Like I said about 300 times this video so far. If you don't pass the basic looks test, which is minimum, bare minimum, you've got to be 5 out of 10. You've got to be tall, full head of hair, normal looking, just normally looking face. Then you can maybe cold approach, but even then you should just basically go about your business, you know, go out in a nearest biggest city near you, go out and go get coffees, walk around the shopping centres and that. Just make eye contact with, with women that you find attractive, and just see if they don't immediately turn their eyes or head the other way, if they don't give you death stares and side eye and all that stuff. You know, if the odd one gives you a bit of a smile or looks you up and down, then you can maybe go and introduce yourself. Wait for them to give you the green light. Otherwise, you're asking for trouble. And cold approach with any pickup lines and shit that these guys are selling does not fucking work. You cannot flip switches and trigger attraction. It does not work.
Different context. I want you guys to understand that the context under which you meet a girl absolutely matters. I don't care what anyone says. That's why dating apps have such impossibly high standards and why you need to look like the guy on the screen to even be able to bag a girl who looks like that. It's just unfair on the apps, but you give yourself more of a chance by simply changing.
And who even the fuck knows what's going on with this picture? For all, I mean, they've got the same nose. For all we know, that's his fucking sister that he's in the picture with. We don't know the context of that.
The domain.
You breathing and you are not overweight, they are gonna think you are not. And two, even then, like, you are gonna have a relationship in your hands where you gotta be the jester master. You are gonna be easily replaceable. You are gonna be on a timer till she finds a better flipper. Better be easily replaceable. You are gonna be on a timer till she finds a better flipper. Better jester maxer. But he's right, you know. Try hard enough, go through enough rejections, and it is bound to happen.
I'm glad Rehab admits.
You gotta be the jester master. You are gonna be easily replaceable. You are gonna be on a timer till she finds a better flipper. Better jester maxer. But he's right, you know.
Alright, I've watched about 20 minutes of this. I'm going to leave this video here. I'll come back and finish it another time. This has already been a pretty long video. So, yeah, in 13 minutes, yeah, that's about that. So I'll leave that as it is there, and I'll come back and finish the dismantling of this new kid on the block, Too Cold. I have to make up a little nickname for him too, like I do all the other people. I have to think about this one, Too Cold. Nothing comes to mind. If you can think of one, leave it in the comments. Like I said, yeah, this guy's a little bit more sneaky than the other ones. He's got a little bit of fake self-humility, talks about the BP a little bit, tries to tell you looks matter and all that shit. And yeah, but as I said, when I first came across this guy, I was giving him the benefit of the doubt till I went to his homepage and seen that he was selling something. If you ever come across any of these dickheads, if they're selling a book or a course or a workshop of how to pick up women and how to flip switches and all that, you just got to immediately know it's a complete load of shit. It's all bullshit, and just fucking block them, report them, do whatever you can. We've got to get rid of these dickheads off YouTube and all the other platforms, because they're just I can't believe I can't stand the fact that they're scamming good, hard-earned money off guys, selling them shit that they know themselves doesn't work. Anyway, I've been too long on this video. I'll see you in the next one, possibly even part 2 of this. Take care.